A video that went viral on social media, in which a penguin walks alone towards the mountains of Antarctica, leaving his group. Many people are relating it to human behavior, such as depression, living alone, or being afraid of something. Making such big decisions for the audience, German filmmaker Werner, in 2007, Herzog presents a scene in his documentary, which 2/3 later, in the world of the internet. This clip shows one of the Adelie penguins separating from their colony and heading to the mountainous regions of Antarctica instead of the ocean. The ocean in the South Pole is the source of food and life for these penguins, so we need to know about the nature of the penguins, why this creature, leaving the ocean, is forced to live within 100 kilometers of Antarctica. Antarctica is the part of the Earth where nature has left no room for any living thing. It is the coldest, driest, and windiest continent in the world, with winds as high as the hurricane, as well as temperatures -90 degrees Celsius. Falling is also normal. So much so that in the cold, if it is not covered properly, it will start to freeze in 10 seconds, until a glass of boiling water thrown in the air will freeze before it falls to the ground. Then the question arises, why the penguins made this deadly cold home? The answer is the enemies of the penguins and in their hunger. The land of Antarctica may be deserted and home to death, but the sea around it is full of life. In this cold ocean, there are small, jungle-like fish in such large numbers that it is a treasure for penguins to eat. But the main reason for living here is the enemies of penguins. Because these animals cannot run fast or fly in the air, that is why if they were elsewhere, perhaps the wild animals would have eaten them, or their eggs would have eaten them. The good fortune of the penguins is that in the harsh cold of Antarctica, no other dangerous animal can step in. The penguins have taken this terrible cold shield. Nature has the power to fight such harsh cold within them. A thick layer of fat beneath the penguin's skin is what they call the bulbar, and they have so much on them that the icy winds cannot reach their bodies. Of course, Antarctica is a gift of nature for the penguins, but nature does not give anything for free. If they find refuge from the enemies here, then the price of it, every year they face death. So understand that every year the penguins have a test of life and death. Pass. Not all penguins are the same in the icy world of Antarctica. There are a total of 5 species. The heaviest and up to 4 feet long penguins are called emperor penguins. Then come the helmet penguins or the pick-striped penguins. There is a thin black line under their picks. The third generation is the gento penguins, which are recognized by their orange chin and white stripe on their heads. Then come the macaroni penguins, whose heads are on yellow stylish. And finally, the breed of penguins seen in the viral video. They're called Adelie penguins, and they are recognized by the white color around their eyes. Anywhere in the world when winter begins, animals and birds move to warmer areas, but in Antarctica, the exact opposite is seen. Almost all the types of penguins, they move away from the sea for breeding because they are at risk of leopard seals, collar whales, and birds near the sea, which are enemies of their eggs. In addition to the near-sea conditions in Antarctica, which are quite harsh, high winds and waves can carry the eggs. Eggs, especially emperor penguins, are the only animals that move to the snow and mountains in winter, also to advance their breeding, that is, breeding. Every year in the months of June, when the winters start here, the emperor penguins leaving their food in the ocean start traveling together in the millions. Their destination is the breeding colony, where they themselves were born, 100 kilometers from the ocean. This journey is so difficult that their body begins to lose energy. No way have something to eat, and neither on the floor. When they arrive at the breeding colony, they select their partner. To impress the male penguin family, make strange sounds and pull out the chest, make dance-like movements up and down the neck. The more healthy the male, the quicker the selection. Only 1 egg per mile after meeting gives, and up to this point they are completely exhausted. No penguins have eaten anything for the last 2 months in this whole process. The last time they came out of the sea, they just spent what they ate, and this sacrifice they have to make just to increase their breeding. They make a sacrifice bigger than a penguin per mile, transfers to the claws, and then all the females go back to the sea, during which time the male penguins, who have been hungry for 2 months, lay their eggs on their claws, get close to each other in this stormy, cold season. Imagine for the next 2 months it will eat and drink something, stand in the blizzard temperature of -60 degrees Celsius. It will not move from its place so that the egg is down. Until the mother returns, the father loses more than half of his weight due to starvation for about 4 months. Until this point, before the baby emerges from the egg, all the mothers return. But if never happens and before the mother comes, the baby, when the male penguin comes out, takes a special milk out of his throat and feeds the baby. This milk is his last drops of raw energy. This is the father of the world who protects a new life without caring about his death. But when the baby from the egg, penguin, is close to hatch, in per miles returns his stomach full. Haughty, she recognizes her partner. Then she takes the egg into her safety, and then all the hungry male penguins, emperor penguins, make the most sacrifices when seen walking towards the sea, just to save their baby. That's why they are also called the best dead in the world. But is every emperor penguin equally caring? Maybe not. In the emperor penguin's Miles sacrifice, but the teacher believes in stealing. Yes, the same type of penguin that was seen in the viral video, where the emperor penguin famous for their sacrifice, they are considered the most mischievous and active bird of Antarctica. Their nature is completely different from the emperor. Their strangest thing is how to make their nests. There is no grass or straw on the snow of Antarctica, and Adelie penguins make their home from stones, which makes the best nest. The chances of selection by mile when male penguin builds a nest to please his partner, he often resorts to stealing instead of working hard. Yes, when the neighboring penguin is watching the way, the female footstone from her nest grazes and keeps it in her nest. Sometimes this whole day they spend time fighting behind the same stone. Their weird nature shows that they are very, very social and hyperactive, but their system is more balanced than the emperor. In them, the father does not go hungry alone, but the mother and father sit on the eggs in alternate shifts. When one goes to eat, the other gives the wheel. Their breeding colony is not as deep as the emperor, but yet they have to go 50 kilometers inside. So the question arises, why such a social and clever animal that counts as one stone suddenly wandered to death? When filmmaker Werner Herzog saw this scene, so they themselves were quite surprised. They saw that a penguin separated from the flock and then began to walk in exactly the opposite direction. Scientists behave this strange behavior, psychic breakdown is called. Whether human or animal, sometimes the brain wires cross. Penguins have a built-in GPS in their brain that acts as a natural navigation system for their brain. According to scientists, penguins when swimming in the ocean can sense Earth's magnetic field, exactly a compass. Not only the position of the sun, stars, and clues such as water flows or smells, also used to remember their direction when they move hundreds of kilometers back to their colony, so their brain, by combining all these signals, takes them on the right path. But sometimes, due to a brain infection, parasite, or just being overly stressed or hungry, their brain glitches. Then the penguins in front of them, the presence, the companion, or the sea does not look, but a wrong way inside their brain is fixed. But have you wondered what happened to this penguin in the end? Can animals really feel sad or not? Science answers yes. When a baby of a penguin dies in the harsh cold of Antarctica, then those parents do not leave. Their dead children standing next to them, they make strange, sad sounds. Sometimes sad so much that they even try to steal the children of other penguins in order to ease the burden on their hearts. So is it possible that this viral penguin has lost a loved one? Of course, science calls this behavior a mental disorder, but observers find that the penguin suffers from distress or depression. Otherwise, when every shot this clip, they did not try to save it, because Antarctica, the law, that you cannot interfere with the natural system. He walked alone to the mountains, until he was blinded by his eyes.
There are only mountains full of snow for thousands of kilometers. There are no fish and no water. They penguins hungry and tired of snow somewhere in the pile. This world of penguins teaches us a lot. On one hand, the emperor is the penguin who saves new lives by playing on his own, and on the other, he is the wandering traveler who left everything, headed to an unknown destination.